Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today for the Morris Murdock and AmaWaterways River Cruise event. We're excited to have Brandon Oscarson, who's our business development manager for AmaWaterways. Wonderful man. You'll notice today when he presents that you'll be inspired, you'll be entertained, and you'll be informed, which I think are three good things to have. So again, here at Morris Murdock, we're so thankful that you've joined us. We're getting so excited that we might be able to start seeing the end of the tunnel here and we'll be able to start traveling again. Who knows how long this is going to take, but it's been a long ride for all of us. And I know you're probably just like me. You're so excited. You have so much pent-up demand and you are ready to travel. So we are excited to hear from Brandon today. So Brandon, I will turn the time over to you and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for joining us. It's great to see all of your faces. Can't wait till I can be back out in Salt Lake City and see you in person. All right, I'm going to jump right in and get started. So as I go through these slides and I talk about AmaWaterways, quite often you will hear me use the word unique, and it's because we do a lot of things very differently in this industry, and it sets us apart on very high levels. And one of the things we do differently actually begins with our cruise managers, the people who take care of you while you're on a river cruise. So typically when you take a river cruise, you're going to tie it into a land package. Take my Romantic Danube, for instance. With the Romantic Danube, you start off with 3 nights at a hotel in Prague, and then you do a 7-night cruise down into Budapest. Well, with AmaWaterways, when you arrive at your hotel in Prague, your cruise manager is sitting at a welcome desk to greet you. They are your very first point of contact. They're also going to give you an itinerary of things that you're going to do with them while you're in Prague. They'll be at that welcome desk every single day because they want to make sure you make the most out of your time while you're there. If you want to know the best places to go shopping or grab a bite to eat, they're your point of contact. They're going to help you with everything. This very same person gets on the bus, heads down to the vessel with you, takes the 7-night cruise, and as you're getting off the ship, they're typically the last person to bid you farewell. Now, the reason this is unique, everybody else in the industry puts a tour operator on the land and the cruise manager on the cruise. We really want you to have that personal experience with that one person from the moment you arrive until the moment you leave us. Here we're looking at a map of all of the places that we cruise around the world. As you can see, our primary focus is in Europe. We do also cruise the Mekong Delta through Vietnam and Cambodia, the Chobe River in Africa, and I'm very excited to talk about this a little bit later. We're going to start sailing the Nile River in Egypt this September. Now, I have a list of all of our ships. Everything in blue has been sailing for the last 18 years, and the ones in gold are actually going to hit the waters this year. Now, something else that I really like to share here is AmaWaterways is a debt-free company. And the reason this is so important, we've seen a lot of changes with different cruise companies over the past year. And we are a very secure company. When you book your cruise with us, you will absolutely be traveling with us when we're all ready to get back over. It has been a policy of ours to pay cash for our ships from the beginning. So again, this puts us in a very strong place. And on top of that, we are the only US-based river cruise company that were able to operate last year. Our Ama Christina was cruising on the Rhine River. We were servicing the German market. We had people from Germany, Austria, and Switzerland all traveling with us. And the reason this is so amazing and such a great opportunity for us, everybody else is figuring out what their safety protocols are going to be moving into this year when we start sailing again. We were exercising them from the beginning of July all the way up until the middle of November, and we had absolutely rave reviews. Now, I'll touch base on a few of these, but I would recommend going to amawaterways.com/travel-updates. There's a 5-minute video that goes over the safety protocols, but also share some of the guest experiences while they were traveling during COVID-19. And they were so happy. We had one woman travel with us 3 cruises because she was so excited to be able to just do something and get away for a little while. Now, to talk about some of the protocols, obviously masks are worn by our staff at all times. For our guests, you only wear a mask when you are heading from your room to a common area space or maybe back to your room. And the reason we're doing this is because hallways are narrow, you're going to pass people. But Germany and Austria mandated that only 100 people can be on a ship max. It doesn't matter what their occupancy holds, only 100 people max can be on board. So we have been able to set up the ship so that everybody can be socially distant. And you saw on the previous slide that we even have a plexiglass window in between the couches so that you can sit a little closer to some of the guests on board, but you can also have that safety precaution in place. Something else unique we're doing, the dining room is set up to be socially distant for everyone on board, but everyone's had different comfort levels. So we have set up in-room dining for now. You can dine in the lounge. Up at the front of the ship, out on the deck, there's tables and chairs. Our guests can dine there. Same with the aft of the ship. At the top deck, there's tables and chairs. So we've really made it so our guests can spread out as much as they would like, and we will take care of them and serve them wherever they happen to be. Typically, that is not the case. Now, the last thing I will mention, and this is because it was the #1 question we were asked, is the air recirculated on our ships? And the answer is no. Every single room, every individual stateroom has its very own heat and cooling coil system. And the air just drops in. It is not a force system. So none of the air gets pushed into the other rooms. So you're always getting fresh air coming in from outside into whatever room you are in on board. So again, for more information, you can go to amawaterways.com/travel-updates. Or if it's easier for you, you can go to YouTube and just look up AmaWaterways. On our page, it is the first video that comes up. I recommend taking a look. Some of the guest experiences are really nice to listen to. Now, in the river cruise industry, we have been recognized as the most innovative river cruise line. And we really have to attribute this to our president of the company. His name is Rudi Schreiner. He's the owner of AmaWaterways. Now, Rudi is an architect by trade. So he has had his hand in designing every one of our vessels. And to just give you a couple of ideas of things that he's done that have changed river cruising for everybody, he was the first person to put a French balcony on a river cruise vessel. Before that, it was just windows. He was also the first person to put a full balcony on a river cruise vessel. In 2019, our Ama Magna hit the waters, and he really broke the mold with this because the Ama Magna is double the width, but we didn't double the occupancy. We only put 40 extra guests on board. So this ship holds 196 guests. So all of this space went into the staterooms and amenities on board. The average size stateroom, what we're looking at right now, is 355 square feet. This is a very spacious stateroom. Just getting into an entry-level stateroom, you're starting off at 205 square feet. And then our owner suite is 710 square feet. We do have some mixes in between those different sizes, but we have a wide selection to choose from. And something we were thinking about when we built the ship, we get a lot of ocean cruisers who are reluctant to go on a river cruise simply because they like those larger staterooms and they want to have more options, more amenities while they're traveling with us. So we check the boxes with the staterooms, and we absolutely check the boxes with your dining experience. There's more. We have a lot of extras on this ship, but the dining is one of the most important things for travelers. Most people who travel are foodies, so we want to make sure you have a great dining experience always. Now, on the Ama Magna, you have 4 separate dining venues to choose from. Our main restaurant, where you'll have cuisine from the areas you're cruising through. Jimmy's Wine Bar is going to have a similar menu to the main restaurant, but it's served family style. The alfresco dining is a 7-course meal. And then our chef's table, where you watch your chef prepare your meal, is also a multi-course meal where you don't even look at a menu. And what I love about the chef's table on the Ama Magna is there's no glass partition between the kitchen and the dining room. The chef can talk to you while he's preparing your meals. Now, I was so fortunate. I was able to cruise on the Ama Magna twice before everything shut down. And I will tell you, this is the creme de la creme of river cruise vessels. Now, something we're a little more well known for, it's our twin balcony stateroom vessels. And what we're looking at here is an entry-level stateroom on one of these ships. So this would be a category D or E. It's 160 square feet, and you have large picture windows up at the top of the stateroom. As you move up, we go into a category C. This is 170 square feet. And this is where you have your French balcony, sliding glass doors that open up the span of the stateroom and rails right there to keep you nice and safe inside of your cabin. And now you'll see that we have a table and a couple of chairs there. You can open up the sliding glass doors and get the fresh air and sit there, maybe have some snacks or a cup of coffee or just relax and get the fresh air. Now, a lot of times when I say twin balcony stateroom, a lot of people aren't sure exactly what I'm talking about. So what we're looking at right here, this is a twin balcony stateroom. On our left-hand side, you have your own private veranda within your stateroom. On your right-hand side, we're looking at a French balcony area. Now, something unique with AmaWaterways, categories AA and AB are 235 square feet. That French balcony area, we actually can put a twin-size sofa bed in there, and we can accommodate triples. Nobody else accommodates triples in this industry. We are able to make this happen. Now, we only allow a maximum of 4 triples per sailing. I've never even seen more than 2, but river cruising is intimate, and we want to keep it that way. Now, with our suites, they are 355 square feet, and we are able to accommodate quads. However, AmaWaterways doesn't put 4 people in a stateroom. We're partnered with Adventures by Disney, and they will put families of 4 in the suites, and they will fill the ship up with triples. It's Disney. They have a totally different experience. And the only way you could go on a Disney cruise is if you booked through Disney or had Morris Murdock book through Disney for you. It's Adventures by Disney. They charter vessels throughout the year, and they do very unique itineraries with us. Again, something unique with AmaWaterways. I told you I'd use the word unique quite often. We have the fastest Wi-Fi in the river cruise industry, in Europe specifically. We're the only river cruise line that has a 4G network on all of our European vessels. It is so expensive to get those 4G towers on board, and even more expensive to run it annually. Our first year that we had this in place was 2016, and we very quickly realized that Wi-Fi was going to cost more than fuel for all of our ships around the world. But we understand how important it is these days to have fast internet speeds. Almost every one of our guests has a smartphone or a tablet these days. When you go on your excursions, you can take tons of beautiful pictures, get back on the ship and have that fast internet access so that you can share with your friends and family back at home through your Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you're using, so that they can see these incredible experiences that you're having while you're traveling. Now, in the evenings, we do bring live entertainment on board. You get a lot of cultural immersion while you're off the ship and going on your tours each day, but we want you to have cultural immersion while you're sailing with us as well. So after dinner, we bring singers, dancers, and musicians from the areas that we're in to perform for our guests. Another way that we're able to immerse you into the cultures of these places is through our dining experience on board. This is where we have the highest ratings all the time. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but our dining is spectacular. We're members of Le Chain de Rôtisseur. They are the most prestigious culinary organization in the world. Membership is by invitation only. And I will tell you that the food on board is exquisite. And we give our guests 2 separate dining venues. Up at the front of the ship, you'll have your main restaurant. For lunch and dinner, you'll be served cuisine from the areas that you're cruising through. For breakfast, you'll find it's very standard breakfast options. Now, for some of you who have river cruised before, you'll see that center area. That's typically a buffet option. Now, prior to COVID, we had considered removing the buffet, but with COVID, we realized this is something we're just going to get rid of indefinitely. We're not going to bring it back. So in the middle there, we're putting new cooking and action stations in place so that we can have chefs preparing food in the center of the dining venue as well. And something that is most guests' favorite dining experience while they're on board, it is our chef's table. This is our specialty restaurant. Just so you know, there's no extra charge for specialty restaurants. Everything is included. So with the chef's table, you do have a glass partition between your kitchen and dining room. You can see the chefs preparing your meal. And once everybody is seated, the server will bring out 3 small hors d'oeuvres. From there, they move on to champagne with sorbet soaking in it. From there, we move on to 2 small entrees, finishing with 3 small desserts, paired with 3 different wines throughout the evening. You never even look at a menu, and it is absolutely spectacular. And real quick, I see some questions coming in. I will absolutely answer questions at the end of this as well. Now, for our guests who have dietary restrictions, we can accommodate anything. Every meal is prepared to order. So if it's gluten-free, dairy-free, low sodium, food allergies, we're able to make that happen. We do ask you to let your travel professional know before you get on board so that we can just have a little manifest remark in place. If you forget, it's not a problem. Our restaurant has a maitre d' who will come and go over the menu with you and let you know if there's certain things that we can even make special just for your diet. Now, something else that's really fun, I really like, we keep a detox water of the day up at the corner of our bar in the lounge. And I like this. It's fruit, herbs, and minerals infused into the water. And I'm a certified health coach. I will tell you this helps support your immune system. So when you're jet lagged, maybe even been a little more active than normal, little things like this can make big differences and help you keep a little bit healthier while you're traveling. Now, we do include complimentary, free-flowing soda, beer, and wine with your lunch and dinner. The wines come from the regions that we're cruising through. So sometimes what you have with your lunch is completely different than what you're having with dinner. If you happen to really like something from one of the areas you were in before, all you have to do is ask your server for it. They're more than happy to go and grab it for you. With breakfast each morning, there is complimentary sparkling wine or champagne. If you're in France, it is champagne. Also complimentary juices. 24/7, you will have access to complimentary coffee, specialty coffee drinks, tea, bottled water replenished to your room as often as you would like. When you're getting off of the ship to go on an excursion, we're going to give you a bottle of water. When you're coming back onto the ship from your excursions, we're going to give you a hot or cold drink, just depending on what the weather is like outside. And every evening before dinner, we do offer a complimentary cocktail hour. This is our sip and sell. Now, the reason this is so great, as I had mentioned before, river cruising is quite intimate. This brings everybody up into the lounge. You get an opportunity to get to know the people that you're traveling with. I've been on quite a few sailings, and I will tell you, I've never been on a ship with more than 145 people. So I'm a very social person. I pretty much know everyone when I get off the ship, including all of the staff. So this is really neat. And what else is really great about this? It brings everyone to the lounge, and it gives the cruise manager an opportunity to discuss what's in store for the next day. Now, the reason this is so important is they've done these itineraries hundreds of times. We have cruise managers who have been doing this for over 20 years. Now, you will get a detailed itinerary before you get on board. It comes maybe 3 to 4 weeks before you fly on over to take your trip. I always encourage people with a river cruise, especially with us, don't overplan. Because we give you a lot of choices with excursions. Your cruise manager will talk about these things, and you'll definitely change your mind at least once or twice before the cruise is over. Before, I had mentioned that we have more amenities on our ships. And the reason we do have more amenities than anybody else is anytime you take up space for something that's not a stateroom, you're taking away from places you can book people to put in. Well, with us, we want our guests to have more experiences while they're traveling with us. If you want to get a massage while you're cruising, we've got you covered. We have a spa on board. We even have a salon if you want to get your hair done while you're traveling with us. We have a state-of-the-art fitness center, cardio equipment, a cable resistance training system. If you like to stay fit and active while you're traveling, we have you covered. You can do everything you would do at home, just maybe modified a little bit right here in our fitness center. And something again unique with us, we have a pool on the sun deck. Beginning in 2010, all of our ships from then on have this pool. Well, we keep it heated. So even during the Christmas markets, it's a good 104, 105 degrees. You can go up and get in the water. And as you can see, there is a wind guard that goes around it. So if you happen to be swimming while we're cruising, you're still nice and comfortable. Now, another unique option that we offer our guests, we have a complimentary wellness on board program on board. So every single vessel will have a wellness coach, and they do classes at 7 a.m. and 7:30. And they do mix things up. It's not a yoga program. It's a combination of different things. So the classes are at 7 a.m. and 7:30, and it'll be either yoga, core training, maybe some light stretching, resistant band training, maybe even some Tai Chi. Some of them have some different skills that they bring to the table. But I will tell you, everybody enjoys these programs. It is designed for anybody who would like to jump in and join. We allow you to work at whatever level is best for you. Now, I had mentioned we offer a lot of excursions. We have more included excursions than anybody else in the industry. And to give you an idea, there are more than 20 included excursions per 7-night sailing. The way that we're able to do this, every single port you stop in, you have your included city tour. Now, your city tour is going to give you 3 levels of activity. We have one group that is for gentle walkers, 2 groups for regular paced walkers, and then we have a group for active walkers. Active walkers have become very popular with us. Last time I was in Passau, we actually ended up with 3 active walking groups. We like to keep the groups small to maybe a maximum of 20 people, but typically it's 15 people. So the active walkers take on more challenging tasks. And to give you an idea, we're looking at the city of Dürnstein. This is in Austria. At the top of the hill there, those are the ruins of the Bergewing Castle. This is where King Richard the Lionheart was held captive during his crusades. Now you can see there that there are stairs that go up to that castle. Our active walkers will go ahead and hike up those stairs. Something else that we include, complimentary bike tours. So our European vessels have 25 bikes per ship, and we do complimentary guided bike tours. And we put a tour guide at the front of the group and the back of the group because we do have some avid cyclists who love to travel with us. We also have guests on board who used to be avid cyclists 20, 30 years ago. So we want to make sure that everybody is taken care of while they're traveling with us. So I'm going to circle back to more included excursions and explain in more depth how we're able to do this. So let's talk about the Vienna. If you're on the Danube, you're going to stop in Vienna. When you wake up in the morning, you've got quite a few choices that are all included. You can either go on your city tour and choose your level of activity, or maybe you've been there before, you want to do something different. We have the back alleys of Vienna, a cooking demonstration, a wine tasting, or an art tour. Again, these are all included. You just have to choose which one you would like to do. So there's a couple of reasons we set up like this. One, I had mentioned we like to keep small groups. This allows you to communicate with your tour guide and get that personal attention. Also, we have a lot of well-traveled guests who are maybe going back to these cities for the 2nd or 3rd time, and you can have a unique experience each time that you go back. And one more thing I love about river cruising is you are in the heart of these towns and cities. All of these places along the rivers in Europe, the main cities were built along the rivers because this is how they move things around the countries. Now, with river cruising, we're not in the same position as an ocean cruise vessel where we've got to get everybody back on at 4 o'clock so that we can be off at sea by 6 o'clock. So there are some places that are too small to really stay all day. So you get to go to 2 ports in one day, and you have included excursions in both places. But wherever we end up, we don't take off and head off early. We're usually there till very, very late at night or even into the next day. So if you like to get off the ship after dinner and go into town and explore and kind of see what the nightlife is like, you have a lot of opportunities on a river cruise. Now, we do have some exotic destinations outside of Europe. This happens to be one of my favorite trips that I have ever been on, Vietnam, Cambodia, and the riches of the Mekong. I'll talk about it north to south, but it does operate both directions. So the full trip is 15 nights. You can break it into segments, but the way that it's set up is we start off with 2 nights in Hanoi. From there, we spend 1 night out on a luxury junk on Ha Long Bay, which is considered to be the 8th natural wonder of the world. After that, we're going to fly you down to Siem Reap, where we're going to stay for 3 nights. You will explore temples here, and Siem Reap is one of the peak highlights of this entire trip. It is so special. Now, we're looking at Angkor Wat on the upper right here. This is the largest religious monument in the world, built in the 12th century, also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We do a sunrise here, and it is breathtaking. And it's also really nice to do the sunrise here because it gets a little crowded in the afternoon, so it's nice to beat the crowd. And if you're starting this way, you're still jet lagged enough that it doesn't matter what time we get up and go there. After this, you'll get to see Angkor Thom, Bante Shre, and Ta Prohm. There's a lot of temples here. After our 3 nights in Siem Reap, you take a 7-night cruise on our Amadara, which is stunningly beautiful. It is an all-twin balcony vessel, and we finish off with 2 nights post in Siem Reap. Now, I had mentioned before that you can break this into segments. I personally would not encourage anyone to go without, at the very least, making sure you get a couple of nights in Siem Reap before you get on or off the ship, whichever direction you happen to be heading. So we do cruise the Chobe River in Africa. We are the only company that combines safari options with a river cruise. As a matter of fact, we have 5 different safari options you can choose from. You can spend anywhere from 9 to 19 nights with us in Africa, from South Africa to East Africa. Now, the Chobe River, we're on the Zambezi Queen. The Zambezi Queen only has 14 staterooms, and they're all suites. And I have heard that seeing this vessel on this river is mind-blowing. You would never expect it. And as you can see, the accommodations on board are stunningly beautiful. And this is something that I'm super excited about. We are just getting ready to open 2023 on this because the 21 and 22 are very, very full at this point. This is a big bucket list for a lot of people. Secrets of Egypt and the Nile. So this is not just a 7-night cruise. When you book this with us, you will be with us for a minimum of 11 nights because there's just too much to do and see in this part of the world to just do a 7-night cruise. So the whole itinerary includes 3 nights in Cairo, your 7-night cruise on the Amadalia, which is under construction as we speak, and then 1 night post in Cairo again. Now, the Amadalia, we were not able to build a brand new vessel because on the Nile, the government is very strict about how many ships are allowed to be there. So we purchased a 68 stateroom vessel. We stripped her down to the metal, and we are rebuilding it into a 34 stateroom luxury vessel. She will have all of the luxuries you would find on one of our European vessels, and the decor on it looks spectacular. There are also going to be some additional pre and post add-ons that you can apply to this. Before you get on the cruise or head over into Cairo, you can do either 3 nights in Dubai or 4 nights in Jordan. And obviously, if you're in Jordan, we're going to take you to Petra. After the cruise, if you want to test out Israel and see what it's like over there, we're going to have a 4-night Jerusalem excursion set up here. And what we're doing in Jerusalem is very unique. We're going to take you down to Mount Masada, and we're also going to let our guests go float in the Dead Sea. Now, really quickly, with this itinerary, we are doing a lot of extremely unique things that nobody else does just because of the cost of these things. I've done a couple of webinars with some Egyptologists, and they have confirmed that nobody else includes these because it's just so expensive, but we want you to have the most amazing experience. For more information, definitely reach out to your Morris Murdock Travel professional, and they'll be able to fill you in on details, and obviously I'll work with them to make sure that you're well taken care of. Now, I know that this slide says extended to January 31st, and we're looking at the day going, that's right around the corner, but I had to share this because it is such a unique offer. And I've been with AmaWaterways for 8.5 years now. I've never seen anything with such a rich savings in place. We have itineraries for 21 and 22 with complimentary land packages. So if you're interested in traveling sometime this year or next year, absolutely reach out to your Morris Murdock Travel professional. Let them get something in place. And we're really easy to work with. All we need is a booking in place before the end of the year, the month. And a booking means that you have a 7-day courtesy hold. So it buys you time to make a deposit and, you know, kind of get your ducks in a row. Make sure that this is exactly what you want to do. And for joining us, I do have some very unique show specials. First, I will offer a 100 per person discount for anybody who has a booking in place within the next 2 weeks. And the same thing goes where you get that 7-day courtesy hold. So technically you have 3 weeks to make a deposit and still get this 100 per person discount. And it's combinable with any promotion that we have in place, even this one that's on the left that I'm about to talk about. So we don't typically offer 2-for-1 deals. It is just not something that AmaWaterways does. I have something very unique for Morris Murdock in place today for everybody who is in attendance right now. And I know it's August of this year and some of us are kind of questioning it, but we are very optimistic that we will be selling at this point. Our Impressions of the Seine in Paris on August 12th has a 2-for-1 offer on our categories C, B, and A. So there are terms and conditions in place. Absolutely reach out to Morris Murdock and let them help you get booked. Again, this is a very unique offer. Now, when I talk about river cruising and where AmaWaterways is rated, I really like to use Berlitz guides as a reference. One thing that I've learned over the many years I've been in this industry, when you open up a publication and you see #1 river cruise line, one of 2 things has happened here. Somebody simply paid to put that there, or very clever marketing happens to get that rating. Berlitz is a very prestigious rating, and they send secret shoppers out. So people don't even know they're on board their ships until a month before the book is released. They call everyone up and say, by the way, this is where you ranked in our last book. So with the river cruise industry, they have 3 editions out. Each time, 10 of our ships are the highest rated in the book. And the 3 things that top the charts in order: food, service, and amenities. We are very consistent in how we operate. And when I say we are the highest rated river cruise line in the industry, we truly are. That is my presentation. As I had mentioned, I will answer questions. I have set this up so that you can unmute yourselves. Bear with me one moment. And let's see, I got a couple of questions in the chat. Oh, from Brian. Will breakfast and lunch be served throughout the ship similar to dinner? So yes, we will be serving dinner throughout the ship until things change. So this is going to continue on once we get up and running again this year. And he also asked, do we anticipate shore excursions will be limited in number of passengers on motor coaches? So July through November of last year, our groups were a maximum of 10 people. Again, this was mandated by the countries we were operating in. So until things change, the answer to that is yes, we will have to limit it, which just means that we have to have more motor coaches and smaller groups for our guests. Do we have any other questions? And again, you're welcome to unmute yourselves if you would like and ask, or you can type it in.
So Brandon, while we're waiting here, just a couple of quick comments from me from the Morris Murdock side. I just want all of our clients and guests to know that Morris Murdock, we've really worked hard over the past 10 or 15 years to position ourselves as the river cruise specialists. We have several of our advisors that have been on multiple river cruises. I personally had a chance to go on AmaWaterways from Budapest to Bucharest. Absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite trips I've ever taken. It was just amazing. Loved the bikes. I loved going out and biking through Bucharest. It was just an amazing experience. I love the chef table. You talked about that as well. well. But anyway, make sure that you reach out to one of your Morris Murdock travel advisors and talk to them specifically about river cruising. There's never been a more important time to use a travel specialist, a travel advisor. At Morris Murdock, we are connected. We have connections that you're not going to have personally. We're connected with Brandon. We can get you deals that other people cannot get you. Again, you want to make sure that you have a travel specialist, that you're working with the travel specialist during these times, because so many things are changing not only daily, but sometimes hourly. And we will be able to give you the most up-to-date information when it comes to your travel. And again, we're just as excited as you to get back in and travel again. And thank you so much for attending today. Brandon, you've done a wonderful job. Gosh, we're just excited to get back out there.
Thank you. And actually, I did get a couple of questions from Doug. He's asking what the additional costs are on board, like laundry, gratuities. So you can prepay your gratuities before you even head over, and it's $147 per person. If you do it while you're on board, it's roughly 13 euros per day for the crew and 3 euros per day for your cruise manager. Laundry, very similar to a hotel. You have a bag that you put things in, a form you fill out, and the cost is similar. It does vary in price. It is very, very affordable. And then from Phil, in August, if Paris doesn't happen, what's the refund policy? So if we're not able to sell, then obviously we can offer you a refund, or we offer you a future cruise credit. And what we've been doing when we have to suspend these sailings is the future cruise credit is 115%. So we actually give a little bit more back when we have to make these suspensions. And then Brand, I think I got a question for you. When will you know the Disney Alaska schedule for 2022?
I think we're all waiting to see what happens with Disney Alaska, but any Alaska sailings for 2022. Yeah, soon. We're a great partner with Disney as well, and as soon as I have that information, I get the most updated information from our Disney travel planners, and once we have that, we'll certainly pass that on to you as our clients. And one other thing I forgot to mention, Brandon, for everybody that's on the call today, make sure you go to our website at morrismurdock.com and register. Brandon has volunteered. He's given us a 7-night cruise for two on a European sailing for this year or next year. Hopefully, if it were me, I would choose 2022, but that's entirely up to you. But you have a chance to win a 7-night river cruise for two on AmaWaterways by registering at morrismurdock.com. So please make sure you go to our website and register for that great prize. It's unbelievable. We also have plenty of other great prizes that you can win as well. But Brandon, you've offered the grand prize for our whole Morris Murdock virtual travel show for February 1st through the 15th. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We have one more question. Somebody, Paul, is saying they're booked for the romantic Danube in May, and they want to know the odds of it happening. Unfortunately, I am not a fortune teller, and I cannot tell you when we'll be able to get back to Europe. We are all waiting for Europe to say, come back over. So there's a good chance, but it's really hard to say at this time. With COVID, one thing I have learned is you don't know what's going to happen next week, let alone maybe 4 months away from now. So let's keep our fingers crossed. If anything comes up, suspensions are happening 45 days prior to the embarkation, and we are keeping everybody up to date with what we're doing. And onboard testing. So Brian is asking if we expect to have onboard testing for this year. So Rudi Schreiner has mentioned quite a few times he is not interested in doing testing to get people on board. We haven't had the discussion of having onboard testing for people coming back yet. It's a little too preliminary at this point because we don't know what the terms and conditions from the CDC will be to get back into the States once we're able to get back over to Europe. And that looks like that is everything. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Brent, thank you so much for putting this together. This is fantastic. I always love joining you and your wonderful clients that you bring out.
Thanks, Brandon, and thanks, everyone, for your time today. Have a great day, and we'll hopefully be talking to you again soon.
Take care, everyone.
Brendan. See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you.